Thanks for watching heretostay.tv. I'm Glenn Hausman, and I'm with Michaela Guzy, and she is with the people you meet online. A great website. She's all about storytelling and connecting with people all over the world. Michaela, that's what I love. You know, I go to a lot of different cities all around the world, and I got to tell you, I don't know how to connect with people. I need to learn from you.
Well, thank you. Hopefully I can help. Yeah, we started a site called the People You Meet.
Yeah.
I came from a publishing background and worked at all these great travel brands. But one thing that was really lacking in terms of content was the local people. And that was what brings a destination to life for me. So for the past 6 years, we've been focusing on the people that you meet and all the various destinations from urban hubs to the jungles of Rwanda that really bring the destination to life through personal stories.
Yeah, because, you know, we could just tour. We're here, you know, on a rooftop bar in New York City, and I could walk around and experience New York, but am I really experiencing New York without connecting one-on-one with the people there? And again, I don't know how to do it. So what's your strategy, your philosophy for putting yourself into situations so you have organic conversations with people and you feel more connected to where you are?
I think one of the ways of doing so is to find a small local jaunt for lunch. I mean, all these coffee shops have popped up, or even go to a bar or happy hour. I love traveling by myself because you're actually going to be more inclined to speak to people. And so even if you sit up at the bar, you're going to have a conversation with the bartender. And even if you don't meet someone who's also a patron of that particular store, you'll end up getting some clues and tips from the local bartender, coffee barista, whatever it might be. And so I say walk into somewhere that looks visually appealing to you, where maybe you see people that you think you'd like to meet versus like some big chain, and go in there and ask for advice. Like, what the worst they could tell you is like, you know, I'm too busy, and walk away. But I've just never really had that happen. So,
well, that's cool. To me, it almost makes me feel like trying to talk to someone in a bar in the 1990s when I was single. You know, I'm afraid of the rejection. The barrister doesn't want to tell me, you know, what to do, what to see. It makes me very, very sad. Very.
Anyone in hospitality wouldn't be doing their job if they didn't help you. And for the most part, like even in big cities like New York, random strangers, like I will stop in the middle of the street and be like, hey, what's a good bar in this neighborhood? And someone will be like, oh, over on 2nd Avenue, because this isn't an area of town I hang out in that often. But like people are more than willing to help and are usually happy to help as well.
That's true, and that is a huge misconception about New Yorkers, that we all seem so very busy, we got places to go, but you say hello, they stop, they want to talk to you. So no negative New York talk at all. So what's the last cool place that you went? I want to hear about a really good story, a really good experience, because this is really all about storytelling travel these days.
Well, I mean, I was in Baltimore this past weekend to be on Fox. That was really exciting. You know what?
Do you want to just make me so jealous that I can't finish this interview?
You know what? I had actually never been to Baltimore. And in addition to meeting some lovely people, there was a couple really great restaurants. And we got to watch the sunset right over the river, and it was beautiful. So I went in kind of like, Baltimore, and I was like, Baltimore. So that was exciting, and I sat at the sushi bar, and they had just gotten a giant yellowfin in, and I got to talking to the sous chef, and then I got to meet some people and met some other people that were sitting at the bar as well, and ended up having like a couple sparkling sakis and went back to my hotel and went to bed. But for a little bit more exotic, I went on an amazing ski trip in South Lake Tahoe, which was unbelievable. And I took ski lessons from Olympian athletes. Yeah, talk about like the pressure being on for a pretty beginner skier, but they're actually so patient and so inspiring. And you know, they're hanging out with me and making me feel good about myself. And then I was like, come on, show me a trick. And then they're like flipping around, doing all these stunts. And I was like, oh.
All right. So you may not be a gold medal skier, but you definitely get a gold medal for talking to people. That's for sure. You're great at that. So what other tips do you have for when you're on travel to make that journey most successful? Because a lot of our audience, they're in a location for a long period of time and they want to fit in, feel part of that community.
Sure. I mean, there's an amazing company called Mr. Aristotle, and they have all these customized experiences all over, like urban hubs all over the world. And so one that I just talked about on my segment with Fox was a macaroon cooking course. You learn to make 3 different kinds of macaroons when you're in Paris. And like, what's
Nice.
more quintessentially French than that?
Right.
But it's really intimate and just a couple of you. So you get to meet these other travelers from all over the world that are also participating in this very like curated experience, right? And in New York, oh no, I'm sorry, it was in London, we did a sidecar tour and there was only a couple of us. And so it was really funny. Like I have pictures with these now friends, where we took all these like little pit stops and funny little sidecars all across London. It was so much fun.
Now that's an idea that I think would work for me and maybe a lot of people out there, is sign up for an activity and then you're just kind of thrust into that social situation without those imagined barriers between you and the other people,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, look, even in New York, there's street art tours, and you know, Bushwick, Brooklyn. I felt like I was taking a field trip in my own city, but this person takes only 10 people around at a time, and it was like a fun thing to do for an afternoon. And then we all went to a bar afterwards and had a drink, and then everyone went their merry way. But it was such a fun, unique way to explore my own city.
Excellent. What other types of travel trends are you seeing out there or you're experiencing yourself?
Wellness is all over the place. And I mean, for me, wellness is very holistic. So it's not just what you put in your body, it's also exertion of whether it's exercise. If you're a runner, I'm a big yogi. I do hot yoga every day. I'm in New York, and I do take my practice on the road with me as well. It's lovely because it is something you can do on the road. But I do think it's also about mindfulness, and so I think that's people being more polite and aware, not only of taking care of themselves, but of those around them. And I think that's why meditation is something you're starting to hear a lot about. I think Ayurvedic practices, which come from India, are making a huge resurgence.
What are those?
Ayurveda.
Ayurveda.
Ayurveda is an
Sounds like the stuff I put in my hair. Oh, wait, no, it's Aveda. Sorry.
which smells delicious.
Thank you. You know, I had a cat that used to love it. She'd come and lick my head.
Oh, well,
I know. Well, it was all natural
allergic to
products.
cats.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Let's just try not to sniff my head last year.
Right, okay, noted. No, Ayurveda is, it's the Vata, the Pitta, and the Kapha, and that's the air, I'm trying to think, air, water, wind, if I'm remembering correctly, but it's an ancient Indian tradition, and so what they tell you is basically all 3 of these elements are supposed to be in balance in your life, and in theory, that would be lovely, but most of us, especially in places like New York, aren't. And so through different Ayurvedic cleanses or foods, spa treatments, yoga, you end up balancing all of your body and your heart, mind, and body, your soul. I'm probably getting this all wrong, but anyway.
But it sounds good to me.
Ayurveda is all over the place, and you might not realize it, but like turmeric is an Ayurvedic spice, and turmeric is like a crazy trend right now. It's just featured on clean plates. You're hearing about it in every restaurant. Even my mom in Missouri is like, I'm taking turmeric. It's an anti-inflammatory. My publicist just told me it helps digest things. And I was like, okay, it's the wonder drug. It also
turmeric
stings,
is in 2018 as kale was to 2016.
I mean, kale's still like going strong.
Well, it needs a new publicist though, because it's sinking down on the visibility charts.
All right. Well, turmeric's all the rage right now, and it is Ayurvedic. So one of those things that's underlying, and to me it ties back to travel and like these cultural, I don't want to call it like tribal, but it's a lot of these tribal traditions are coming back. I think there's Tulum is another example of Mayans. You know, this was a Mayan Mecca. And I believe it was actually a Mayan port city, if I remember correctly. And through all the different spa treatments at all the fancy hotels, but these like cenotes, which seem like just cool caves with water, but actually are like holy grounds for the Mayan people. And like even the Mayan traditions, the culinary like dishes that you eat in Tulum and in Riviera Maya, that's all inspired by the Mayans. And so that's just an example of ancient tribal kind of medicines and traditions and recipes coming to life in modern day. And personally, I love corn, so I'm all about Mayan food.
Excellent. All right. I love it, and I love my food all the time. Don't try taking it away from me. So any final thoughts, any final tips, and then I want you to give yourself a great plug.
Well, final tips, thoughts for like what, traveling?
Yeah, whatever's coming to your mind, what are you really passionate about that you need to share with everybody today?
I mean, I mean, meeting new people, and I think meeting new people is more important now
Right.
than ever.
Because your site's not, oh, the strangers, they'll stay. Right.
No, I think it's the sense of global connection, and with
Yeah.
everything that's going on in the world, I think if you can look at someone, whether they're in Turkey, India, Mexico, or in New York City, and be like, gosh, this person's not so different than me. People are just looking for like a sense of connection and friendship, and I think that's why you hear the buzzwords community or hashtag my tribe.
Right.
Are these like fun morning dance parties? Those are actually in major urban hubs all over the world. If you've heard of Daybreaker,
Yeah.
sober morning dance parties. 6 to 7 is a yoga, then 7 to 8 is a dance party, and they serve coffee and like granola and like whatever healthy wellness sponsor they have.
Wow.
But you dance, and I've actually gone to a few of them by myself and ended up becoming friends with people because you're just shaking it on a dance floor, and you leave and you're just kind of euphoric because you
Yeah.
just started your day like meeting bunches of new people in these crazy big city, and like now we go hang out. Like there was one person I met that after dancing all morning, we missed each other by lunch and we met up for lunch later
Wow.
that same day.
I know that 11 to 12 o'clock hour is so lonely in the mornings.
Totally.
Okay, so how do people find you online?
You can find me on ohthepeopleYoumeet.com. We have 111 contributors all across the globe, and we have a ton of inspiring travel videos on my YouTube channel, which is Michaela Guzy. And I'm on all the social channels, either as OTPYM or Michaela Guzy. Follow all of them, and we try to keep all the content unique and fresh and sustainable and transformative and hopefully very localized.
And listen, I've been there. I love it. She does some great stuff. And I want to thank you guys for watching today. I'm Glenn Hausman. Thanks for watching Here to Stay TV.